Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and today I want to start this party off because, I'm always about the party, and you see that cat with the head meme with the cat with the bobbin head. That's always me. Because today, let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to the party boy. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. How's it going?
Awesome, party boy. So, if my internationally known audience is not familiar with you, and why would they not be, introduce yourself.
Well, first of all, I'm Party Boy. I'm a professional wrestler. I started professional wrestling, I'd say, April 10th of 2018. So that's 6 years.
Wow. So,
And
who trained you?
yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Who trained me was LJ Cleary, Kay Harvey, Michael May, Phil Boyd, all at Fight Factory Ireland.
Oh, wow. Fight Factory. I know them. I know Fight Factory.
Yeah.
Fight Factory. I don't know if it's the Ireland edition. I think it's. I know the name. Fight Factory is a very familiar name to me. Yeah, been doing this podcast for 4 years. You get a chance to hear so many different names of wrestlers and promotions, and there's wrestlers that are in Scotland or Ireland that I'm just like, the Warner Brothers cat, like any cat from a scary like a Warner Brothers cartoon, seeing the mouse or seeing a bird, you're like, dying to work with them, but they never answer my messages. Like, yeah. But yeah, I love getting people from like Ireland and like Scotland and stuff like that. But Ireland is the only part of the UK country with it, like, they're really not part of it, but they're part of it. Like, that have not planted my Dudes at Ringside flag. I had Northern Ireland, 2 people from Northern Ireland that like, no, you're Northern. You're like, oh no, you're up there and you're still in the UK countries. But let's get back to the fun interview. So, what was it like the first time, like, you stepped foot in your training facility? Were you nervous? Were you excited? Like, what was it like?
It was all the above, really, because I was thinking that, wow, this is something I grew up watching, and I get to see what it's like. Besides, being in the crowd, watching a live show or watching on TV, I get to be part of it, and it was intriguing. Like, I was excited, but I was also nervous because, believe it or not, I'm actually not a very talkative person unless you get to know me.
Wow. Well, that's really deep because I've met people, like, they meet me and I'm a talkative person. I'll be like, hey, you doing blah, blah, blah. I'll talk about my episodes. But like, if I feel like there's something like I feel like eyes are staring at me that don't want me there, I'll cocoon. I'll be like, yes, I was at a PPW show, and I brought cards, like, my QR codes that I hand out. And my Papa Panther was going, Randy, you just walk up and hand them to him. Like, Dad, you don't know wrestling fans. A lot of the times they'll see a code and they'll see a card. Nowadays, you see a QR code, you kind of get scared because a lot of times the QR code could be like,
oh yeah.
If you see, Independence Day, it's like the bomb hits and
I got that reference. Yeah,
down virus. So like, what went into the creative process for you to get this character of the party boy?
Funny story. I think I might have told you. I think I told you that there's a funny story added to it. It all started off with them trying to come up with a stage name for me. Like, instead of them calling you by your real name, they would call you by a nickname. The first name they threw at me was Gunner.
Gunner.
And I was like, already taken. And I go, by who? It's like, Jackson Riker had it in TNA. And they go, oh, okay. And I just started randomly quoting a Jackass quote, like, Hi, I'm Party Boy, and I like the party. And that's how the name came about. I was like, oh, you're Party Boy, and I was like, oh, okay. And it just became a running joke because I didn't know
Yeah.
how long I was going to last in it, but it just got to the point where everyone loved it. And as you see, there's just a difference between what Chris Pontius from Jackass does than me. Like I don't wear the dicky bow and I don't go around wearing a jock strap.
Imagine you just did that as a Halloween costume, but then you just put like a gold thong underneath the outfit, but you don't
That,
take off the shorts because you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of a whole studio audience, possibly your mom and
yeah.
dad. like mom's like, oh, disowned you. like
Just that South Park thing is like, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
you'll be like, oh, sorry, no. So like, let me get into it, like with like, what is it? What is your family like? Your mom and dad, like, are they all for it, or are you just Do you like a lot of times when you go to your wrestling shows, do your parents ever come to the shows and stuff like that?
Uh well, my mother went to one of the shows. My father went to a very important one that happened that we can talk about later
Okay.
because that actually is a really good story in itself. So if we have time, we can talk about that.
Oh yeah.
But like basically, my my father is a security does work in security, and my mom is a manager in sales. And
Wow.
they always knew that I loved watching wrestling as a little kid. And I can tell you, like, I can't remember exactly how old I was when I first saw a wrestling match, but like it's like that little thing where you just remember something. It's like, just why do I remember that? You know, like if you're watching something on the network, and it's like, why do I remember that?
Mm.
That's where it came from. And it turns out my very first wrestling memory, and believe it or not, is John Cena's debut match.
Mm.
Yeah, I would
Wow.
have been about 4.5, 5 years old at that
That
point.
was when Cena faced Kurt, right?
Yes,
Uh,
and I think
Awesome.
it wasn't a couple of weeks after that Rey Mysterio debuted, was it? Or
Yeah.
maybe about a month or so.
I
I
remember
don't
the
know.
debut. I was in summer school when that happened, and I was when they first showed that first Rey Mysterio promo.
Yeah.
If there's a scale of like marking out, I marked
Oh.
out so hard that like the mark meter would be spinning and it would explode, and you would see
Mm,
sparks coming out of the thing because
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
ah! I screamed, and everybody in the room was just like you know when you scream about something
Yeah.
like a table spot, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's the thing is the reason why I really feel I can say this right now is that my idols growing up as a professional wrestling fan were very few names. We have The Undertaker, Batista, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Triple H.
Mm,
They're all
wow.
my favorite growing up, and Eddie Guerrero too.
Yeah, and it's sad. I really miss Eddie. I miss his personality. I miss his smile. I miss the way he would talk. I miss his jokes. I miss, it's like I remember the day he passed. I was still living on Long Island, and I called my friend and like told him, and
Mhm.
I didn't get to him at first. It was his mom, Randy. What's going on? What happened? And I was like, Eddie Guerrero died. It's like the internet just starting to come in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
told him, I told his mom, and because they all of them watched wrestling, all of them watched Raw and SmackDown. So I was
yeah,
like, Eddie Guerrero died, and they were like, "What? You know, you joking, Randy?" I'm like, yeah, "No, Eddie Guerrero died." I can hear his mom yelling, "Randy, Jimmy! Oh my God, Eddie Guerrero died!" And Jimmy's sister's like, "No, oh my God!" And she was like 9 or 10, and then
yeah.
Lauren, his other sister, was crying, screaming, "Oh my God, Eddie, Eddie, no, Eddie!" And I was crying. I was like, we were all crying together. It was like wrestling affects your life in like the craziest ways. So like, what is like your fondest memory of Eddie?
Uh, um, fondest memories. Like you see, I didn't really. You see, around the time that he passed away, I have very vague memories of what happened. But when you know, the glorious thing called the internet now. You can literally look back on the times that you were like, oh yeah, I remember that. It was his last ever match before he passed away, where he had the steel chair about to hit Mr. Kennedy with it, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he sees the ref get up, he slaps off the ground, throws it at Kennedy, and he just goes, he hit me. I love that shit, man. I really did.
I always used to like whenever when I would have like a girlfriend, like a female friend that was bigger than me, I would always go, "Mamacita, look, she's my China." Like
That would when I started watching a lot more of the old stuff. That was probably my favorite Eddie stuff. The whole, oh, China, you're my mamacita, and all that stuff. And it was like she's ignoring him. She turns around and he has a little puppy. It's like, can you forgive me?
I I actually
I love that.
interviewed a female cosplayer that does China on
Oh
the
yeah.
podcast. Yeah, Sarah Page. She's training to become a wrestler.
Oh really?
Yeah, she's
Cool.
training to become a wrestler, and her whole thing is she's China. She looks like a China. It looks like China. She has that face. She has the hairstyle, the outfit. Oh my god! If you saw her, you'd be like, it'd bring
Is
you
she
to
built?
tears. Yeah, big, and she's a bodybuilder, so she's stocky
Oh.
like China, and
Oh.
yeah, and she's really. She came on the screen and she didn't even say anything. She was just sitting there like this, and I'm just going, oh my god, did I just take a plane? Did I get? Did internet connection go through the clouds and go to heaven? Like, am I like sitting here talking to China? Like, I
Yeah.
was kind of like, and then she spoke and she had the British accent, so I was like,
Okay.
Miss China, learn how to speak in a proper accent. I don't know, like. Could trick the world and be like China, Kazima dudes at ringside. So, with you being a party boy, what is like
Yeah.
a playlist that you would have when you go to the gym, like or before you go to the party? Like, what's the big playlist that you would have on your phone?
I love like really heavy metal. I love some party music, but I love like music like Metallica. If I was going to work out, I'd listen to Metallica or maybe Avenged Sevenfold. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I heard of them.
Yeah, yeah. Those would be my listening points. Maybe a bit of Panther, like you know, like all the old hard stuff. If like I want to get intense workout in. But if it was, as a party, I'd just stick on a few like tunes that will just you'd listen to while you're getting ready to go for the party. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. So
Yeah.
you went to WrestleMania
Yeah.
weekend in Philly. What like you want to talk about it? Like, what kind of like fun adventures was Party Boy on that weekend?
Oh, that weekend when we were over in Philadelphia, like the first day we arrived, what we did was we wanted to see like all the things that's in Philadelphia itself. Like the first day we went, but just on the first night of WrestleMania, we ran over just to see what the Liberty Bell is like, and we learned some stuff off that. And on the way back, we bumped into some people from Iceland who said, "Oh, there's a superstore that's in the community center that's right across the street," and I was like, "What?" Yeah, that it has like a entranceways, t-shirts, everything, like you know, leading up to WrestleMania, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit!" And my fiance just looked at me and said, "Why don't we go?" I was like, "All right." So we went in and we bought like 3 t-shirts each, and basically what I got was it was a WrestleMania jersey that is in that's represented like ECW. It's like
Yeah.
black and red with 40 and WrestleMania in the back, and it's in barbed wire.
That's what's funny and sad at the same time? The old ECW fans that are still around and still hardcore and they still, they support ECW. I wonder what they thought about that weekend. I wonder if they were excited. I wonder if they were mad that like it wasn't about them, it was more about the WWE aspect of it.
Maybe, but I think at the same time, I think their thing was getting Paul Heyman in the Hall of Fame. I think
Yeah.
that was what they were more excited for. Maybe I'm not too sure. I can't really answer for every person's thought because that's not how the world works. But
Yeah, I get that. So
but
like
they got a Bubba Ray Dudley appearance.
yeah, I thought maybe Diamond would be the bell keeper in the match because he can't wrestle and he can't really He's
Yeah,
back.
poor D'Lo. Or Devo. I just say
Yeah.
D'Lo.
D'Lo, whatever. Yeah. So where
Different
did
guy.
you sit for Mania, or did you not go and you just went to all the other stuff?
Excuse me. The first night we were in like the club section that was like right across from the hard camera. Like we were behind the hard camera, and we had a perfect view of everything. Like we didn't even have to look at the screen to like focus on the match. It was that close.
Oh wow.
But we're probably like in the dead center. You know what I'm saying? And in the second night, we were behind the stage, and we're on the very top. And sadly, in the second night, the one bad thing that happened was my section was blinded by the lights.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you can hear it. Did you hear it on the live where they were saying, "Turn the lights off"?
Again? That happened to me at WrestleMania 35.
Really?
Yeah, that happened at WrestleMania 35. If you go back, you can't hear it because they probably edited it out because WWE edits out. If you know WrestleMania 20,
Yeah.
they edited out the boos during the Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg match.
Did they?
Yeah, I was there. I still could hear the boos.
I'm sure. I'm sure the network where I have it, I heard the boos. They were like saying, "Oh, boo, fuck you, Brock, fuck you, Goldberg," and all that shit. Like,
Yeah, I was there. I still remember hearing the boos, and I hear this is boring. I still remember it. I still remember till like this day that I was like, I'm watching Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg,
yeah,
and they're booing them both out of the building of the Garden, and it kind of was laughing because I was like, New York City people know, New Yorkers. If you know, I grew up in New York. Us New Yorkers, we may claim we know everything about professional wrestling, but man, we will give you a welcome or we will give you a freaking anxiety attack if you come to our city and try to make it about you. That's what I know about New Yorkers. Like if you come to the indie scene in the tri-state area and you come in and you try to like say, "Oh, I'm here. I'm a New Yorker." They'll be like, "Oh, really? Party boy, this come to our city. Don't come in as a heel and diss on New York." I would have to back you up. No. He's kind. He likes to party. New Yorkers, we party. What are you doing? Like, have you ever thought of like coming to wrestle like in the States or like anywhere for Mania? But
yeah, it's believe it or not, there was a show that was happening in Philadelphia for CCW.
yeah,
I think Cheeseburger got a few people. You know Cheeseburger, right?
yeah. RH.
Yeah. ROH. He got a majority of the lads that train with me a spot on that show, or a few shows, in fact, in Philadelphia. And like at the same time, I was just like, I'm only there for a couple of days. If I was in Philadelphia a bit longer, I probably would have asked. But you know, it was more of a vacation, is what you would say, than going around to get some experience.
Yeah. I get that. That's the difficult part. Like when you're on a vacation, aka a holiday,
Yeah.
and you're going to be performing, you need more time to like be able to lay the ring, the people, the fans. So like for you, when you travel to like within Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
like do you have to like bring a lunch with you and like bring a pack of dinner, or do you just bring a lunch and eat whatever's in the area after the show?
Bit of both, really. Like, what I do is that I would have something to eat about 2 hours before show starts, because I don't know, like if I was in a match and I was told, "Oh, you're gonna be on, let's say, the opening match or just before intermission," then I'd have something to eat about an hour before the show, like maybe a sandwich, packet of crisps or something. But like, if it was later on in the show where like, oh, you're just after the break, then I can stuff myself like a pig.
Mm. What is like
Yeah.
your favorite go-to food after a show?
Oh, hmm. At the beginning when I first started doing shows, like what we do is that we'd all go to a place called Supermax, which is uh like a fast food restaurant
Mm.
that we have over here. And basically they have like all burgers, they have chicken burgers, all that stuff. And we'll go there and just have a bit of crack for an hour or two before we all went home.
Mm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dude, when you were in Philly, did you actually get a chance to take in the food? Did you get a Philly cheesesteak?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. What famous? Because there's Philadelphia is known for like the famous Philly cheesesteak places. Like, which one did you eat at out of all of them?
Oh God, I can't remember.
There's one. If you ever go back to Philly, Party Boy,
Yeah.
definitely go to Oh Brother.
Oh brother. Okay.
Yeah. Oh Brother was my parents got my friends that are another podcast group to go to Oh Brother, and they were like, "Oh my God, your mom was right." Like they were so right. So yeah, but it's a Philly cheesesteak place in Philly, and my mom has been there, and it was good. I didn't go. I was never on that trip. My parents went, but yeah,
Yeah.
put that on your list. Oh Brother.
Oh brother. Okay.
Oh Brother. Yep. Do you have any like merch that any of my fans could pick up if they would like to buy any merch from you?
Well, I have my merch, but I don't have like a website or anything like that made up for it. But like, I can try and get some website up. I need to look that up, to be quite honest with you, because I'm only new to selling merch. I only started selling merch like last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because by the time last year happened, I've only been on shows for about a year because because before I was meant to start in about 2020, the lockdown happened and they completely closed everything in this country. No sport, no nothing.
Oh
It
my
was completely
gosh.
closed. And
Felt like it was here. Like exactly.
yeah,
Like,
it basically took away about a year and a half.
that's sad because like we didn't even have baseball till MLB just was like, you know what? We're just gonna use the fake people in the audience. I thought that's what they were gonna do with the indie scene. I seriously thought they were gonna
I
have
heard,
hard
I heard that.
cameras. Yeah, and just you have a YouTube channel? We're going live every Saturday for
Mm.
a wrestling show. I thought that's what we were gonna get. I personally, that's what I thought. I was like, we're just gonna have some like wrestlers in an empty arena, and the promotion will have to find a different camera angles to do a show every Saturday, every other Saturday month. Because if they did, imagine that every YouTube channel for every indie promotion in like America and in Ireland has to be live every other Saturday to do a show. It'll be like, oh, we got to go to that arena again, but there's no one here. It doesn't matter. So, Party Boy, if my fans want to follow you on socials, how can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter now, X, at PartyBoy2, which is at PartyBoy2, all low level letters, like all small letters, I should say. And on Instagram, it's just at PartyBoy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much, Party Boy, for coming on the podcast. It means a lot to have another awesome wrestler from across the pond. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
I'm PartyBoy.
and we will catch you in the next one.